The eastern province of Holguin is grappling with widespread devastation after Hurricane Meliisa, a powerful Category 3 storm, thrashed the region with its formidable winds and torrential rains on Wednesday. As the storm recedes, it leaves behind a trail of destruction characterized by severe flooding, infrastructure collapse, agricultural ruin, and isolated communities. One of the most immediate and dangerous impacts of Meliisa was the unprecedented rainfall, which overwhelmed river systems and drainage infrastructure. Early reports from state media and resident accounts describe streets being turned into fast-flowing rivers, with floodwaters rushing through neighborhoods and inundating homes in the provincial capital of Holguin. Video footage shared widely shows vehicles submerged and residents wading through chest-deep water, scrambling to salvage belongings and find higher ground. The coastal municipalities were hit particularly hard, with reports of significant storm surge pushing seawater further inland and compounding the damage. Even after weakening from a Category 5 over Jamaica, Meliisa maintained wind speeds of up to 120 miles per hour when it struck eastern Cuba, proving catastrophic for much of Holguin's aging infrastructure. Widespread power outages have left most of the province in darkness, complicating relief efforts and communication. Utility poles were snapped, and power lines were brought down across the province, contributing to the prolonged blackout. Reports indicate extensive damage to housing, with many roofs torn off, particularly in rural and less developed areas. Public buildings, including schools and clinics, have also sustained significant damage. The winds also felled numerous trees, including centuries-old landmarks, which now obstruct roads and impede access to affected communities. As a vital agricultural hub for Cuba, Holguin province has been dealt a severe blow to its economy and food security. Preliminary reports indicate massive losses to key crops, including coffee, bananas, and cassava. Intense flooding has submerged plantations, while powerful winds have decimated crops, threatening the livelihood of countless farmers and worsening the nation's ongoing food shortages. The full extent of the agricultural damage will take weeks to assess, but the initial picture is grim, signaling a prolonged and difficult recovery for the sector. In a well-coordinated effort, the Cuban government implemented mass evacuations ahead of the storm's arrival. Authorities in Holguin province oversaw the relocation of more than 200,000 residents from coastal and flood-prone areas to designated shelters and safer locations. This proactive measure is credited with preventing a high death toll in the face of such a powerful hurricane. President Miguel Diaz-Canel acknowledged the extensive damage and stressed that the recovery would be a monumental task, further straining the nation's resources amid existing economic hardships. Emergency services and civil defense brigades are now working to clear blocked roads and reach isolated communities, particularly in the mountainous interior. Despite the overwhelming devastation, the spirit of resilience is visible in Holguin. In neighborhoods where floodwaters have begun to recede, residents are already commencing the arduous cleanup. Neighbors are helping neighbors, clearing debris and attempting to patch up damaged homes. The road to recovery for Holguin will be long and challenging, marked by immense rebuilding needs, infrastructure repair, and agricultural rehabilitation. As aid from both national and international sources begins to flow, the people of Holguin face the difficult task of rebuilding their lives and communities in the wake of Hurricane Melissa's destructive passage. The municipality of Jiguani, in the heart of Cuba's Granma province, has been completely submerged by catastrophic flooding triggered by Hurricane Meliisa. The hurricane, which delivered a relentless and historic deluge of rain, caused the Jiguani River and other waterways to burst their banks, turning the municipal capital and surrounding areas into a vast, muddy lake. The devastating floods have compounded the destruction from powerful winds, leaving behind a scene of immense ruin and a population struggling to cope with the aftermath. Forecasts from the U.S. National Hurricane Center had warned of the potential for life-threatening flooding, and Jiguani became a tragic testament to those predictions. The region, which recorded over 15 inches, 40 centimeters, of rain in the settlement of Charco Redondo, was inundated by a volume of water that its natural and man-made drainage systems could not possibly handle. Governor Yanitsi Terry Gutierrez confirmed that several areas of the province are underwater, with the most significant impact in the municipal capital of Jiguani. Eyewitness accounts describe a terrifying night as the floodwaters rapidly rose. Social media and state-run media videos show residents wading through chest-deep water, with homes and businesses nearly swallowed by the muddy torrent. For many, the experience was profoundly traumatic. That was hell. All night long, it was terrible, recounted Ronaldo Sharon, a resident of nearby Santiago de Cuba, whose experience echoed the fear felt across the flooded regions. The flooding has caused widespread destruction of Jiguani's infrastructure. In addition to homes being submerged or completely collapsed, crucial roadways have been blocked by fallen trees and mudslides, effectively isolating many communities. This has severely hampered relief efforts, with rescue teams struggling to reach the most affected areas. The situation has been exacerbated by extensive power outages and communications blackouts, leaving many without access to news or contact with family. Reservoirs in Gramma Province were reported to be overflowing, further adding to the flood risk and complicating water management efforts. The overflowing rivers and floodwaters also pose a serious public health risk, as they are likely contaminated with sewage and other debris. In the hours leading up to Meliisa's arrival, Cuban authorities, known for their effective disaster preparedness, evacuated over 735,000 residents from high-risk areas in eastern Cuba, a move that undoubtedly saved countless lives. Churches and public buildings were opened as shelters, providing refuge for thousands, including families from Jiguani. Even amidst the devastation, the remarkable resilience of the Cuban people is evident. In areas where floodwaters have begun to recede, neighbors are seen helping each other clear mud and debris, a community-led effort to start the long road to recovery. Organizations like UNICEF have already started delivering aid, including roofing materials, hygiene kits, and water purification tablets, addressing the most immediate needs of the population. The economic toll of the flood on Jiguani and Granma Province is expected to be staggering. The region's crucial agricultural sector has been particularly devastated, with countless crops and livestock wiped out by the floodwaters. The destruction of homes, infrastructure, and agricultural lands will place an immense burden on an economy already facing severe challenges. As Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel acknowledged, there will be a lot of work to do. We know there will be a lot of damage. The path to recovery for Jiguani will be long and arduous, requiring a coordinated national and international effort. However, the spirit of community and the government's systematic response offer a ray of hope for the devastated region as it begins the process of rebuilding in the wake of this historic disaster. The flooding has caused widespread destruction to the community's humble infrastructure. The modest homes, constructed primarily from wood and other locally sourced materials, were no match for the powerful floodwaters. Many were completely washed away, while others were left severely damaged and coated in thick mud. The dirt roads that connect the settlement to the outside world were obliterated by mudslides and flood damage, effectively isolating the community. The agricultural lands, which provide the community's primary source of sustenance, were completely submerged. The crops, the livestock, and the very soil itself were swept away or rendered unusable. The community now faces a complete loss of its food source, a devastating blow that will have long-term consequences for its residents. The combination of losing their homes and their livelihoods has created a state of profound crisis, with many questioning if they can ever recover.
No da cobertura, no da señal de teléfono. Esto aquí es antes de llegar a la entrada de Carpintero.